So we're back with Chuang, Asia, Thailand, episode 7. We're covering an elimination. This episode, for the people watching, I guess most people take a while to watch this as well, but for some people who watch it early all the time, I am coming in a little delayed by about 2.5 hours because of personal business, and also there's this thing where in Asia they don't seem to care about daylight savings, and so they never correct things on their end for us. But that's fine. It's an international thing. They shouldn't have to. And it's really for me to be aware of. And anyways, we're back, and it looks like Mike and Jeff are also back. And here we have a drawn-out elimination ceremony. Everyone at the beginning of this ceremony, they were suspiciously cheerful. But actually, I kind of like that vibe of elimination episode, because usually it's really stressful and a lot of people are kind of like devastated by the result. And I guess maybe it's a thing about the Korean survival shows, but they seem to have a lot invested in it. And so maybe there's an issue there with their industry. But here, what I noticed is that a lot of not just the top 9, but a lot of the survivors are basically, this has become a Chinese show more than anything. I don't think it's a Thailand show anymore. Thailand just happened to be the host country that it was in. And so I guess they thought that a lot of people would be there and making teapot, but I'm not sure if that's the case. This seems to be just a regular produce camp show that just happens to be in Thailand because of the legal issues. But anyways, in terms of the MVPs, so they talked about Xiao Yu and Ruan, and both of them kind of thought their ranking would go up. And at that point, I was kind of like, well, that's weird, because when I'm looking at their previous rankings from the previous episode, they're in the first and second place. But then you find out that the girls are not aware of the most recent rankings in chronological order. They only know from the last elimination. And so even though they're in first and second place, and that's why it's weird that, both of them want to advance higher, they're actually in 7th and 6th place as far as they know. And then they end up ranking up to get first and second place again. And Ruan still wants to get first place. Now, in terms of other surprises, I was expecting Lissa to actually rank higher. But it seems like the very top ranks, I don't know what mechanic is being exploited. But definitely, I noticed that a lot of them are more Chinese than anything else. And I think there's only like 3 foreigners. Well, is one of them even a foreigner? No. It's supposed to be a Thailand show, but it seems like most of them are Chinese. But anyways, Yin went up, and then I think that Yin may be getting merit votes, because, when people get eliminated, they will usually start voting for someone who's, if they continue to vote at all, you will see that they vote for the best objectively skillful person. And I think Yin is getting that right now. But that's just my guess based on previous shows. But anyways, I'm starting to wonder around this point whether or not the last week's end show rankings were the same as the rankings here. But around when they saved Arjing in her rank, that proved that it was different, because before, I think Arjing was 15th place, and now it wasn't until they announced her that you could see that she was 17th place now. And so the rankings at the last episode at the end do no longer apply. And so they are going to be different. And that's what I realized at this point. And that Coco, she went home. Now, I personally think that was inevitable, just because there are some people who are skilled, but they don't kind of like have a certain appeal except to other people. And I think Coco was one of those people who you could recognize that she was skilled, and people were telling you she was skilled. But did anyone really like look up to her? Did she like change her style or fashion in a certain way that would make her more appealing? I don't know. She was just kind of like the same person. And so I guess she didn't expand beyond wherever she started, and it ended up costing her. That's just my guess. I don't know. I didn't actually really expect her to go, but at the same time, I think that she was eventually going to go. And then it was kind of funny at one point during the show where Ruan, she was speaking Japanese, and this is her chance to kind of say thank you for voting for me and everything, right? And then you see when she's speaking, Jasmine, she kind of makes this Pikachu face, like she understands what Ruan is saying in Japanese, and I thought that was kind of funny, mainly because of like the last time she had this kind of a story development. They gave this crumb about Jasmine being able to learn languages quickly, and so I just thought it was funny that Jasmine was kind of comprehending what Ruan was saying. Oh yeah, and then at some point during this episode, there was this kind of like weird part where they let trainees announce who they were going to reveal the next ranking of, and I thought they would just continue to draw out this elimination show so that they would still have 2 episodes, but I kind of wish we just had a 1-part episode that was a lot shorter. And so they could have just rushed through it, and it would have had like, it would have been better for me personally. But they decided to make it longer, and you know, at the end of the show you get like these filler of the girls kind of packing their stuff. But here's the thing, I would have just liked 1 episode, like 1 hour of them kind of eliminating, and then 1 hour of seeing behind the scenes, getting to learn about the actual people who are competing. And so I didn't think you needed a very long ceremony. And you know, it's not like they use it for suspense or drama anyways, because of the way this one's kind of like positive, and so there was no reason for it to be so drawn out and just to have these like mini games in it. But anyways, I thought another funny part about this show was when Liu Yutang came up and addressed her status as who is Liu Yutang, right? Who is Liu Yutang? And people are kind of like upset with her about even addressing that, but I'm not upset about it. I thought it was actually funny. And you know, I'm not sure when this elimination was filmed, but I think eventually, I don't know if she is already aware of it, but she would at some point become aware of maybe this whole rabbit hole about her being involved in like different kind of dramas. I think there's like 2 or 3 different dramas centered around her right now. One is how she dealt with her teammate in this trivial kind of thing. And then also, there's this thing about these paid votes. And then there's also, even now there's this as well, this saying she addressed her status as like literally who are you? I don't know. And I was saying that, I remember when I saw her, I was saying that too. I was like, who is this girl? I don't know who she is. And I never sent any negativity regarding that status. But anyways, I just thought that was hilarious. And then another thing that was interesting to me is that Eileen, she eventually got a top 9 status, and I thought it was odd reading comments a while back about how people were kind of like ragging on her, and the argument was that her family was kind of like, they seemed out of touch, or like some kind of Stepford kind of like thing. And I don't really get that, because like, you know, I do see people sometimes who are kind of like, I guess they're kind of have this kind of strange kind of isolated privilege, but honestly they're just like regular people living straightforward lives, and they don't have any bad intentions. Maybe they're naive, but sometimes naive work for some people, and sometimes they have the privilege of not having to have certain kinds of hardship. And I feel like there's a lot of people who kind of, like the majority of people probably have some kind of hardship or damage, and so they see people who just like, they're just like happy people and they don't have any serious hardships, and you know, people don't vibe with them, and then they call that person weird. But I don't know, their family seemed well adjusted to me, and so I don't know, I feel like that's okay. Anyways, another thing that happened at the end was that there were 3 people who got these, like, I'm not sure if it was TikTok, but they got their rescue rights. They could rescue other people or themselves, and so that ended up being Prow. And also, who else did they rescue? I think it was Akari and Ninint, and I don't know why Ninint keeps getting a chance, but Pailu basically said she just wants a friend around. And that was it. That was pretty much the whole 2-part episodes. I don't know why I need 2 episodes for that. But anyways, let's look at the top 9, I guess. And so, apparently when you get to the top 9, you get jackets. And so, here we have Chao Yiyu, dominating in first place. I actually don't know where this came from personally, but a lot of people seem to recognize her and like her, and so that's cool with me. But I'm just saying personally, I don't know where this came from either. This is kind of a Liu Yuting situation for me. But I always saw her in the tops, but I don't know why she became first. And so Ruan, I'm glad to see her climbing up to second. Wang Qi was unexpected. I did not expect her to finally break into the top 9. Ellen, I don't know why she's dropping. I always thought Ellen and Pailu had like a solid voting base, but now I'm not so sure. Like, why would this drop at all for any of them? Or did someone figure out some plan about how to buy votes or something? Or are people just shifting now that people are getting eliminated? Who knows? Yin, she's just kind of like always in the top 9. And I feel like, I'm going to say this too, because even I mentioned this, like, Yin came out strong in the start, but it wasn't really like, you didn't really connect with her on some level. And for me, it's kind of like she competed with Mamsu and Krista, and I thought Mamsu and Krista had like a better control of their singing, whereas Yin belted. But some people like the belting; they like the loud voice better, and she actually proved herself in the last episode, and so I kind of understand that she used it well in that case, and maybe she can just be that kind of special part. She doesn't need to do what Krista and Mamsu does. But at the same time, I know that Yin still has this kind of barrier with regards to her character development, and I think it has to do with that people want to see someone have a little bit of vulnerability, and right now she's kind of just she's just doing well and unscathed, and it kind of at this point, and it's interesting because she's like mainly her and Pailu are like the Thai people in the top 9, and everyone else is basically, except for Ruan, is maybe like Chinese, right? And then Emma, I'm glad to see that she broke into the top 9 because she's just a good dancer, and she should have been here a long time ago. Krista and then Eileen are also here. Now Krista, she's always been kind of in the top 9, and now Eileen finally broke into it as well. And I think that Eileen being in top 9 is kind of deserved. If you watch Girls Planet 999, I feel like Eileen is kind of like a mirror of, was it Kim Dayan? Because of the choreo, because of the leadership skills, and so yeah, this is pretty good. Liu Yuting, I was surprised to see dropped out of the top 9, and it seemed like these scandals are kind of hitting hard, but I don't know why that would hit hard and affect her that seriously, unless people really did find validation. Sorry, not valid. What am I saying to say? Unless people found the claims against her to be somewhat valid, and that would be based on her own voting base who found those issues, unless, because I don't believe that anyone watching the show knew who she was, and so anyone watching the show wasn't just like saying, oh, Liu Yuting, let's choose her. It had to be from her own fan base, and so it's kind of curious to see that either her own fan base is dropping votes for her, or the paid votes were a thing and now they're not doing it as much, or they're backing off a little bit. But anyways, and then Shu Yao as well. She was worried about getting kicked off, but now she's like 11, and that's really good compared to where she was before. But she wasn't ever really doing that badly, and so we don't know where her lack of confidence is coming from, except for maybe she's just kind of a little bit desperate. I think I mentioned that before. And then Mamsu, I'm glad she's kind of like holding steady where she is, but I feel like I wanted to see her do way better. 1K, I'm glad she's doing good as well. And Chuang, I thought that she would actually do way better and start to advance more. And then I was surprised to see Didi fall out of the top 9 as well. And that's basically the stuff of interest to me. Going further, Tegan was steady, and now she's kind of dropping a little bit. I'm not sure if she's going to debut or not. But then Arjing has risen very fast, and a lot of people seem to like it. Duna, always had Duna's back. She's like top 2 for me, and I was kind of like, it's interesting to see how well she's doing, because in the beginning she wasn't like, let's face it, none of the Korean contestants were doing well. She's like the last Korean standing. I'm not even sure if I believe that she's in these spots, and she wasn't here. Apparently she's been not around for certain social media videos like practices and then also she wasn't even there during elimination ceremony. And my guess is that her company has her doing stuff personally. I don't think she's personally sick in any ways, but if she is, hopefully she gets better. But I'm thinking that she is doing some promoting for CSR maybe. But that's just a guess, but I know that she wasn't there for, there's a continuity issue. So if she's missing from practice, but she was there for the live performance, and now she's missing for eliminations, that means she's coming back and forth. So it's not like she's sick in one way and then just showing up to perform and then sick again, right? There's clearly something going on, scheduling issues, and my guess is she was there to kind of just represent the Korean angle for the show, and they must have organized that with her company or something. You know, sometimes I watch these shows and like I feel this way about Cherry Bullet. I don't know if Cherry Bullet legitimately wants to win any of the shows that they're in. I just feel like that's a job for them to get paid and appear there and give it some legitimacy, or to help develop the talent that's there. But yeah, it seems like the dark horses in the show are kind of losing their steam. Jasmine, she was 16. She's still improving based on compared to last elimination, but now she's 21. And then the new, dark horse is probably Lissa, but she's kind of just holding steady where she always was. And so I'm not really sure what's going on there, but she got saved. And maybe I feel the same way about Lissa and Jasmine as people who are adding entertainment for the show, entertainment value, because of their gimmicks, and maybe they're not legitimately members of the show anymore. I don't know. I don't know if I believe that the show is 100% above board. And some people are probably just plants. Like this is legitimately how I feel about watching competition shows. Like I actually used to be really suspicious about American Idol. I feel like, oh, this is one season that's legitimately voted on, and the second season after this that doesn't make sense at all in the voting. This is like a fake person being pushed as if they were chosen by the public. Like this is just suspicions that you have when you watch these shows. I don't always feel it's a conspiracy theory kind of thing. But anyways, I guess that's it. If you like this video, give it a thumbs up. And if you don't like it, give it a thumbs down. Let me know why in the comment box down below. I'm really hungry. I gotta get out of here. So if you're not subscribed, consider subscribing. And I'll see you in the next video.